What's up, gang? Welcome to another episode of the Grind Cast. Get ready, it's a new day. Simon here. We're gonna start talking about no excuses. We got to start eliminating excuses. Everybody has them. And here's the thing about excuses. You know, they say the best lies are wrapped in a little bit of truth. Like, excuses are usually wrapped in, good reasons. Like it makes sense to people. People can understand it. You know what I mean? But if you want to go to the next level, you got to start living a no excuse life. People don't pay for average. People don't pay for average, and people don't pay for excuses. People don't pay. So, like, when's the last time you were like, you know what, honey, it's your birthday today. I want to wish you an average birthday. And I want to take you to the most average restaurant we could find and have an average meal. Like, long term, to take it to the next level, like, you're not going to get it done with average. And typically, average, couple things start leading to average. One is excuses. Excuses, like, you start to put yourself in a category of everybody can say the same stuff. Everybody had a car issue. Everybody had a cold. Everybody had the snow. So we do what everybody does, so then we get average. Okay? And then another thing to that is, like, being realistic. Like, being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. I don't want to be realistic. I don't want to think about average. I don't want to talk about what everybody else is doing. Recently, I had planned to go to meet with a friend who was sick that I play football with, and he's gonna bounce out of it. But he was sick, like, not a cold, not the flu, and of course it's during a day where there is complete snow everywhere. I mean, it's a blizzard. People ain't, they're canceling school. As soon as I woke up, they were canceling school. And so I get to my office, I'm going through my normal routine, and my staff comes in. Are you still going to Youngstown? You still doing all this? Yeah. I'm 35 years old, been snowing as long as I've been on Earth. Like, snow ain't gonna stop me. Somebody's out there, I'm gonna make it happen, because excuses and success don't go together. Could have had a good reason. So like, why do people make excuses? Like, what typically makes a person think this is okay in order to make excuses? I think that people make excuses because they look for comfort. So, is it a little bit tougher to drive in the snow? Absolutely it was. Is it a little bit more of an inconvenience to do some things? Absolutely it was. So I think one of the reasons people make excuses is to stay in a zone of comfort versus fighting through that little adversity or whatever's that obstacle. And the other reason I could think of is like to justify themselves mentally why this is okay. Like, whatever decision that they made that's not going to get them where they want to go, that's not greatness. Like, we have to be searching for greatness. And what I've learned is, like, whatever most people would do, usually I need to do the opposite. That's how you set yourself. Like, as soon as I know most people wouldn't get up to do this in the morning, I'm getting up and doing it. As soon as I know most people would cancel this trip, I'm sticking with it. Like, you can't get greatness by doing what most people are all going to do. And so what happens is, people start to make excuses to make themselves feel better as to why they couldn't put in the effort or achieve greatness. You either do or you don't. Nobody pays for excuses. Nobody pays for average. Like, I've even programmed it's hard for me to even get it out now when I try to, because I'm human. Like, if I start to try to give an excuse, like, my head is already like, nope, you can't, this don't work. This is not winning. Like, there is no, you either do it or you don't do it. Because excuses are going to stop you from greatness. Excuses in success, they don't go together. Oil and water, like, does not go together. So I need you to understand something. If we're going to achieve greatness and strive for greatness, I need you to lose excuses. Give it up. Because if you keep excuses and keep making excuses, you have to give up success. You have to give up one of the two. I want you to make a decision today. Like right now. Are you going to give up excuses so you can have success? Or are you going to give up success and keep your excuses? Like whatever is the excuse, somebody's already done it. Like all I think about is not the 98% that will make the excuse that makes me justified in my excuse. I think about the 2% that would get through it anyway. Like I'm thinking about who's the beast today that's going to drive through the snow and get an edge on me. I'm not thinking about 98% of these people are going to go home and call off work and close this down. So it's the right thing to do. No, I'm thinking that 1%er, out there is going to serve some people today. That 1%er is going to take this thing to the next level. And that's who I want to compete with. That's who I want to compare myself to. I don't want to compare myself to everybody else. Because I understand that these two things don't go together. They're just reason. These reasons, somebody already got through that. Single mom, what? Single dad. Yep. This, whatever. Like all of these things are hard obstacles. We cannot make excuses. We got to get the job done. At the end of the day, we got to get the job done. You have to find a way to get the job done. When you go somewhere and you go to buy something, you expect that product to be equal or more than your expectations, right? Nothing less. You don't want less than that. Like, what if I went to Disney and it was my only trip with my kids, and the lady comes down and said, listen, I know you guys were really looking forward to this trip, but we had to because the front person's sister died and the person that runs this machine got in the car and they got in a flat tire. And I mean, at the end of the day, as much you got to be a little bit sensitive and things do happen. Like at the end of the day, if this is consistently going to happen, like nobody cares. Like we expect what we expect. Like people are not going to continue to show up and pay for excuses or for average efforts. 99% of failures come from people who have had the habit of making excuses. Like they just got the habit. You know what I'm talking about. And if it's you got to, the first step, if you want to go to the next level, everybody wants to be a diamond. Nobody wants to get cut. Like if this is you can't be thinking of all them out there. This is a cool message, but no, like look internally and say, I got to make a change. I got to make a change, because when you start to adopt the habits of success, then success becomes a habit. Hank, let me rewind that for you guys. Hey, make sure you heard that. Listen, when you start to adopt the habits of success, success becomes a habit. Same as on the flip. When you start to adopt the habits of failures, failure becomes the habit. And one of the habits that failures make is they continually make up excuses. Like you got to be counted on. When you ever see these mountains, I wouldn't call myself a skier, okay, or snowboarder by any means. I've been one time and my friend Bamboo tried to kill me. My man takes me up to Black Diamonds. My first time with no training. No training. It's all right. I'm going to take them to a party on the east side of Youngstown and not tell them we're going, and show up and just let them survive. Figure it out. Come on. I'm going to get you back, Bamboo. My man brings me to the top of the mountain. I'm like praying for my life. 3.5 hours later, I can't move, and I survived. But that's a whole nother story. But here's what I found in these mountains. Sometimes when you're driving, like you see a mountain, it could be sunny. It could be a nice day outside on the bottom, and then as you go up, it changes weather, and at the top there's like snow on the top of the mountain. So on the way up this mountain, it's like you feel every type of weather that you could feel from the bottom to the top. And so understand that this is like climbing the mountain of success, that you're going to feel every type of weather that you can feel. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel happy. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel excited. You're going to feel, why did I do this? You're going to feel like this is normal. As you climb, you're going to feel all different types of weather in struggles. Like there's going to be different struggles on the way up this mountain, from illnesses in the family, friends being jealous of you and hating on you, flat tires in your journey, people saying something negative about you, big money, months, weeks, quarters, a month where you maybe don't do so well, a week where maybe you don't do so well, winning awards, having recognition, maybe a week or a month or a year where you don't win. You don't even make like Aaron Rodgers didn't even make the playoffs this year. Quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, a stud, a beast, no playoffs for him this year. Like on the way up to playing and being great, like there's all different types of feelings, emotions, things, setbacks that are going to happen. Like I'm telling you, as a coach, if you're not preparing, like I remember years back, the Ohio State Buckeyes lost their first string quarterback, second string quarterback, and played in the national championship. Me and Natalie went in Dallas and won it with their third string quarterback. National championship. Like if you're not preparing, like you lost your best player, you're not prepared as a coach. If you're not prepared, like as a coach, you're going to have things that happen. As a business person, you're going to have things that happen. Like if I had on a tablet how many times people said, look, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to be here for you no matter what. I'm sticking it out to the end. I'm 100% committed. And then they quit on me. They quit on themselves. Well, it's part of the process. You got to be prepared for that weather on the way up that mountain. On the way up that mountain, you might have a relationship of somebody that's breaking up with you or cheating on you or something happened. It's part of it. Like also on the way up the mountain, when you're going up, gravity's doing what? Gravity's pulling you down when you go up. So every time you try to go up, you're going to feel a little bit of a gravitational pull downward. Somebody, something, part of that weather is going to be pulling you down. So on your climb of making no excuses, get this through your head. Just start like no excuses. There's zero. Stop it. Stop entertaining it. Reason why I'm saying it is I want you to have success. It's not a lack of talent or skill or desire. Like most of it, it's just like you gotta cut out the excuses. So on your climb, I want you to think about not what am I getting, but who are you becoming on your climb, on your journey. Who are you becoming on your climb? Like so many people are focused on like, what do I get this week? What do I get this month? What do I get? Just in your journey, and you ever hear people say, it's not the destination, it's who you become on the way to achieving your goals or whatever. Like it's all about who you become in that process. Because in order to be able to make it to the top, You're going to need all different types of clothing. Like you might need some short sleeve. You might have to put on a hat, a jacket, get warm. Like you're going to have to blend in and be a chameleon and get ready for different weather. You got to be ready to fly in different weather. Everything you have can't even measure up to the person that you've become. Like you ever see some of the statistics on people that win the lottery? You'd be blown away at how many of them go broke. You ever watch some of the stories on some of these famous actors, actresses, singers that go broke? You ever watch some of the stories on NFL, NBA players that went broke? Because you can get something, you can hit a goal real quick. But if you're not focused on growth, you won't be able to support that. But at the same time, you ever watch somebody lose something and they can just get it right back? It's because of who you become in the process is what makes you a beast. It's not the stuff. It's not your Gucci belt. It's not your nice car. It's not all. And listen, you guys know, anybody that knows me, you guys know I like nice stuff. I like it's cool. Doesn't make me. Try to make sure that it doesn't. I don't feel like I'm better than anybody else. Don't try it. But I've had a bunch of people randomly say, I mean, I like your car. And me give them the keys and sit in the back and let them drive me around. Never met them in my life. Like, it don't make you. It's the person that you become on that journey that makes you. And part of making you is you need to quit making excuses on becoming who you know that you can become. Like, do you want to feel good now or feel good later because you got the job done? You ever hear these people talk about a lifecation? Like, don't be looking forward to the vacation. Make your life a vacation and take a lifecation. Like, the whole life gets to be like this. It's only from sacrifices. It's only from no excuses. Sacrificing now to live the best life that you could possibly live later with no excuses that you adopted. And so I want you to stay in this zone. Either do or don't. You'll always find a way if you don't turn your mind off to it. Like, I don't hear when people say, you can't do that, or you can't do this, or it's like, nope, we're just going to find a way to get it done. That don't work. Like, what happens in your brain, this is why, as humans, we're so powerful. What happens in your brain is until your brain finds a solution for something, it'll just keep on going. Like, whether you realize it or not, if you're focused on, I have to find a solution to this, and you don't give your mind a solution and you're looking for one, your mind will just keep going. The minute that you give your brain an excuse, it shuts off. If you shut off your brain because you fed it an excuse, you shut down your biggest asset, which is your brain, your mindset, your belief. That's where all the power is at. In that mindset. What you talk about, what you think about. And so we have to start walking forward in a life of abundance that is led first by making no excuses. That, yep, it may suck. Yep, may be hard. Yep, but like I look at and look at people and say, I think this David, Goggins, he ran, I don't know, tons of miles. Was it 60 miles or a whole day straight? Like when I see people do stuff like that, I'm thinking, if I'm thinking I can't run 10 miles or 5 miles, it's just an excuse to not do it because you don't want to do it. You can do it. Like a person like that, if they get a flat tire, they're going to get a new tire. Like there's people that they say, well, I got a flat tire, that's why I can't come to work. And then there's other people that get a flat tire and they call an Uber. They get a flat tire, they call their friend. They get a flat tire, they rent a car. Like you start to separate yourself with these excuses. You got injured? Cool. Rehab, come back. No excuses. We don't quit. No excuses. We just get the job done. Start looking at your life right now. Don't get mad at me about it. This is just the principles of life. This is just the law. Believe me, I wish it wasn't this way. I'd love to make some excuses. Here's the way it works. I don't want to be right. I just want to win. Like, here's the way you win. If you want to win, there can be no excuses. I could think about a quick story of, I had a friend of mine call me and say, hey, we got this big, he works for a big pharmaceutical company. California. Says, man, I think they want you to speak out here in front of all these people. We're going to fly you out here, blah, blah, blah. And I need you to get your tape over here. This was years ago. We weren't as advanced and ready as we are right now. So I want you to get your highlight tape. I want you to get some stuff over here to us. And boom. And I only had one person. We weren't prepared for this. We were new at some of this stuff. My man was on vacation. He comes back. We get him the stuff. It took about 5 days. Already signed Inky Johnson. He's like, man, they already signed Inky Johnson. And I'm like, nobody cares about your person's own vacation like that. Like, nobody cares. It's in life, they don't pay for your person had a vacation. They don't pay for excuses, reasons, all that. Nobody got time for that stuff. We pay for greatness and execution. And the more we go right now in this world, the faster everything got to be. Like, we got to be ready now. You might be 1 day too late. You might be 5 minutes too late. You might be like, we got to move right now. People are only paying for greatness now. There's a lot of people out there that could do some stuff. Like, you got to be that person that stands out. Make no excuses. In your mind, whatever it is in your mind right now, whatever it is that's hard right now, whatever it is, usually your spirit will tell you the right thing, and then you start making excuses in your head, telling yourself the wrong thing, justifying what your spirit is telling you to do. You ever hear somebody say, go with your gut? Like, usually that gut instinct's going to tell you what to do. It's usually the right thing. You're saying, like let's do this, and then you start talking yourself out of it. These are these excuses. When you start thinking excuses, I want you to relate those to average. When you start thinking of excuses, I want you to start thinking about the bottom 20%. That's where you're on your way. And when you start coming up with solutions, every time this week, this month, when you start coming up with solutions, every time this week, this month, when you start not making excuses when you should have, could have, would have, you used to, and you start coming up with solutions and ignoring and not making excuses, I want you to start thinking, I'm closer to 1%. I'm closer to doing what the 1%ers are doing. I'm closer to doing what the 2%ers are doing. Because I promise you this, I don't care if you're cutting grass. I don't care if you're a DJ. I don't care if you're making a mixtape. I don't care if you're videoing people. I don't care what you're doing. If you approach that job and that career or that thing like it's already paying you what it's going to pay you, eventually you're going to get it. Like, one of the problems I think people is that they're like, I'll make the sacrifices and cut out the excuses when I'm already in the UFC. Or I'll cut out the sacrifices and quit making excuses when I'm in the NFL. I'll cut out the sacrifices, quit making excuses when you are my husband. I'll cut out and stop making excuses and start making some sacrifices when I'm making $200,000 a year. That's when I'll start doing. It don't work like that. See, you got to pay the price in advance. Part of paying the price is not entertaining excuses, because it's expensive to do that. Like Nat D, my right hand over here in my business, she started out with me $10 an hour. $10 an hour, 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week, $10 an hour. She worked as hard then as she does right now. And let's just say she ain't making $10 an hour. No more. Okay? When you start making well into the, like, people just see, oh yeah, you got 6 figures, you make it all. Okay, what you don't see is the sacrifices and the no excuses when you was only making $10 an hour, $12 an hour, 20 hours a week. Like, those are the things that create the avenues, that create the revenues that you want. Is you can't wait till you get there to stop making excuses. You got to stop making excuses in order to get there. And so you got to make a decision right now. You're going to make excuses, let go of success, keep the success, let go of the excuses, and understand, like Nike says, just do it. Just do it. You either do it or you don't do it. Get the job done. Okay, just do it. Keep it simple. No excuses. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Grindcast. Do me a quick favor. Been telling people, we've been popping top 50, top 60, top 70, I think, top 70 recently. We only been doing this for about 6 weeks. We need to crack the top 50 on these podcasts. The only way is if people are hitting subscribe and making some comments and hitting, I ain't a technology guy, like hitting the like button or whatever it is. Like, we need you to do that. Help me out. Share this with some people. If you think that this message can be beneficial to other people and we could all start to add some positivity, sunshine, some value to other people together, help me do that. Help me. Help me help you. Help me, please. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining in on another episode of the Grindcast. Get ready. It's a new day.